on this episode of the Soul Twin Stars podcast.
Went through all the range of emotions where I felt like I was going to die, that I would be alone in Europe.
I feel like the holidays evolve with who we are becoming and who we have been.
There's nothing more important than your peace of mind.
Celebrate yourself and your divinity and your joy in the simplest of terms.
Hi, I'm Lady Shadow, a witch with much to share, stirring the cauldron with magical self-care.
Hi, I'm Peaceful Nick, a medium divine. I chat with the dead and interpret every sign.
We are Soul Twin Stars, best friends through it all.
From spells to healing, we're answering the call.
From moon cycles to menopause and making peace with the dead.
We aren't afraid to talk about what's rarely said.
So tune in each week to get raw, real, and wise.
Let's talk about a spiritual life with absolutely no disguise. Welcome to the Soul Twin Stars podcast, Uninhibited Spirituality.
We'd like to first thank this week's episode sponsors, Beans and Buttercream Bakery. They ship the most delicious baked goods anywhere. Follow them on their Facebook page, Beans and Buttercream Bakery. Also, Abernathy Photography, serving Western Kentucky and beyond, specializing in digital photography, weddings, and so much more. They now also feature drone photography. You can book them at abernathyphotography.com. And lastly, if you find yourself in Westchester County, New York, just north of New York City, Fino Restaurant in Croton-on-Hudson, New York, serves the most delicious, authentic Italian food. That's Fino Restaurant, Fino. And now, back to our episode. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Soul Twin Stars podcast. I am Lady Shadow, and my lovely partner, Nick, unfortunately had a procedure this week, so she is resting, but she trusted me to be fully in charge of this week's podcast for Thanksgiving, and I am riding in on my rainbow turkey with my husband, Cosmic Chris.
Hi, everyone.
And he is going to chat with us today about gratitude and holidays and all wonderful things celebratory and festive. We have discussed much family drama, how to deal with it, how to handle it over the last several months of our podcast. And so we're going to keep this one super fun and flirty and light and holiday cheery. So welcome, Chris, to my podcast. You
Awesome.
are my husband, and we have not yet had you as a guest, except for on our YouTube lives, where Nick and I talk about all kinds of fun things. And you are a tarot card reader with me. You are a life coach just like me. We're obviously a great husband and wife team. So tell me about what we're doing for the holidays. Nick and I do this awesome thing called Divine Moments. So we discuss things that have happened in the week that are super, spiritual, or breakthroughs, or moments that are extra kind of angelic, where something has stepped in, given us a realization of some sort, or a little gift from the universe, and we talk about that. So do you have a divine moment that maybe I do know about or I don't know about, because we do live together as husband and wife, and talk about what that divine moment might have been this week and how you felt about it?
Thank you so much for that introduction, and I'm so glad to finally be here, a part of the podcast. I'm not sure if this fits in with the questions you had asked, but I want to share some enlightening information I shared with someone this week, somebody that I had just met as a potential partner with us in our other productions. I went and met with this person, had a little meeting, and shared some information. But she had, in a roundabout way, shared information with me about not believing so much in afterlife and what takes place kind of like after we departure here in the physical. And in a roundabout way, I started chatting it up and sharing stuff about my personal experiences with that, having a near-death experience years ago. And I shared that with her in a roundabout way, not getting too crazy with details, but just kind of like brushing the surface to see if that's something she was interested in. And then she kind of was interested, and then I saw her full attention come around, and she started to ask questions, and I was able to share freely without worrying that I was getting close to a political environment or a religious environment where opinions clashed, and like I would frustrate her or make her upset. So she actually shared with me information as well, and then we came to like this harmony where she actually had heard things in the past about that, and I kind of like telling my story helped clarify some ideas and thoughts that she had that she only heard from like other people, like third party, or read about. And I kind of gave her my information or my story, and then she, recognized some similar traits and some similar attributes that she had read about that I mentioned that I experienced. So it was like this like combination of like me just telling my story because I love to chat and talk and share, and then her kind of joining in and like starting to share with me. And then I can see there was like she started to turn the corner, and I can feel her energy shift, because it felt in the beginning that it might not have been something that she was very interested to explore. Like I don't believe in that. Like that's not what I believe, and I don't have any experiences. And like she was like closed-minded, like closed door. And then once I began sharing in a way that wasn't like trying to like rope her into my ideology or my beliefs or my experience, I just kind of openly, in a nice way, laid it all out. And then she's like, you know what? I heard of this, and you just said what I heard about, and now I believe that. And so it was this kind of like an epiphany, if you will, of ideas. And then we started like co-creating on the topic, because she started to open up and share things with me where she had felt guarded before. And I guess she felt safe sharing with me in the space that we were in, because we were like having a one-on-one conversation. So that to me was very enlightening and enriching. And I really felt like I was part of her journey, sharing my journey and my experience of what took place with me to help her get to a higher level of thinking, or like a higher ground on that topic. And then like I felt like after we were done talking, like she thanked me, and she kind of felt like she walked away feeling different about it. Like, so I kind of like in that moment felt like I was being at my highest act of service by sharing my story, helping her come to a higher idea or understanding of what takes place in the afterlife. And it wasn't like I had a crazy big story, but I just kind of shared. I had an experience overseas parasailing where I nearly drowned, and I was being dragged underneath the water. And for a few short seconds, I had like went through all the range of emotions where I felt like I was going to die, that I would be alone in Europe, in Paris, and nobody knew that I was at the beach. And like all this fear took over. And then, like they say, like the total like storybook title about like the TV settings where you see the white light, like that kind of really happened for me. Like whether it be placebo or my imagination or divine intervention or angels, but I saw the white light, and I had this overwhelming peace. Like I felt this real, like something was washed over me, and all those fears I had, like felt like a long time ago, but it was probably like 2 seconds before it was all gone. And it was just like, you're okay. You're going to be okay. Everything is okay. You're at peace. And then the next thing, I felt like an arm pulling me out of the water, and it was like the instructors. And so they took me onto the beach, and they asked me if I wanted to go again. They'd take me for free. And I knew in that moment that if I didn't say yes to them, in my mind, I would have a fear of the water. And I knew that I would just have to like get over my fear and go again. And I did it again. And it was the best experience I ever had. And it was glorious. And it was so amazing. I was up seeing the whole skyline of Paris. But it was just this whole big story, and the culmination of helping someone else have a better understanding of life after death through my experience that I shared. Thank you for listening. But that's my weekly what happened this week.
Yes, I'm very familiar with your near-death experience. It was one of the first things, everybody, that my husband and I talked about on the phone when we first started dating. We met at Love at AOL before it became Match, when it was actually free to date people on AOL. And
Yeah.
he told me the whole story. That was one of the first stories he ever told me. And knowing that I was a very spiritual person, I was very receptive to that story. And I thought, that's cool. He's very spiritual, because I know that you became spiritual not just out of that, but you were always kind of a sensitive spiritual guy. And I'm only attracted to sensitive spiritual guys. So we naturally made a love connection, everybody, because of the kind of person that Chris is and the kind of person that I am. We were an awesome vibrational match. So, the divine moments that have happened in our lives kind of mirror divine moments going forward in our lives, either together or separate. And in the case, of this person that you were talking to, and you brought them some light and some comfort, which is what Chris and I tend to do, whether it's through our team effort or through our own businesses on the side. We both do life coaching in a different way. I do a more kind of a spiritual based, metaphysical centered path, and you do a more practical manifestation side of life coaching, which is great. So we're in a household, both creatively, artistically, spiritually. So we have so much in common, and we've been together, 27 years, I think, at this point. So
Yeah, it goes fast. Goes so fast.
Yeah, we do a lot of business work together, creative work together. We travel together. In fact, we just planned a trip for January, which we're so excited to go on, because we've worked very hard in the last 11 months without much of a break. And so we are super grateful that we kind of sat down finally and said, hey, we need to take our vacation. And we planned it last night. It came all together in 24 hours. And just for everyone listening, if you are picking up on this podcast on the day that it's released, Friday after Thanksgiving, oh my gosh, everyone, you still have a couple more days to go on to your favorite airline's website. Black Fly Days is what they call them. And you can pick up super duper cheap flights to almost wherever you want to go. We found a flight to Barcelona round trip for $256 just about each.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So we're going to jump off there and then do like a little 5-country tour from Barcelona. But there are sales going on from all kinds of cities right now. So if you're into traveling like we are and you're looking for a good deal, everyone hop on and make your dreams come true. And while you're enjoying your Black Friday this weekend, if you want to travel, definitely check that out. There are a couple of airlines that we should probably note that offer super cheap fares. French Bee, if you want to go to France, and Level Airlines, which is a subsidiary of Iberia, and SAS Scandinavian and Norse, all are offering super cheap fares for the next couple of months. So if y'all are thinking about bringing your dreams come true and you want to bring some love and light and spirituality, traveling the world is such a great way to do that. So that's my divine moment, is putting this trip together last night with my husband. And you and I think we talked about this on the live last week, that we are doing a romance giving tomorrow. Do you want to explain what we're doing for our Thanksgiving tomorrow?
Yeah, we are going to have a real low-key Thanksgiving. Well, just you and I. And our lovely pets. Divine pets.
And our divine pets.
Yeah, we're actually, some of our family members are going in different directions. So this particular year, we feel that, together, actually, just having Thanksgiving together, which is okay. And we've had it that way in the past, and it's really awesome. We really enjoy it. Very quiet, very relaxed, and very peaceful. So we're going to be doing that tomorrow. And we have a nice little turkey inside and some little side dishes, little staple side dishes that we fixed tonight. And we'll be enjoying those awesome family recipes tomorrow, along with some turkey and real good, peaceful environment. Music, be fun. So I think we're going to do some karaoke,
some drum playing,
hanging out and connecting and spending time together without worrying about work or phone calls or picking up our phones. So it's going to be very peaceful and relaxing, which is what everyone needs every now and then, including you, the viewer. Take time to unplug, step away from your phone, and enjoy being in the moment with your family or with your loved one or with your pets or wherever the day will find you to be relaxed and at ease and at peace. I know it's still a work week. Some may have to go to work on Friday, but if you don't have to go to work on Friday, I'm so happy that you'll have a few days off to relax and relax and relax and relax and relax. It's good.
Yes. And you have started a channel called Manifest with Chris, and you're on TikTok, you're on Instagram, you're on our YouTube channel, which is Souls and Spirits that Love Base Wicca. And you talk about all kinds of cool ways to manifest, think positively, using affirmations on a daily level, all that good stuff.
Yes,
And
that's correct.
how would somebody, for let's say today, someone's tuning in and listening because they're loyal listeners every week, which is we're so grateful for, by the way. And Nick sends all of her love. Nick misses everybody. I miss Nick. And of course, you know, that doesn't mean we're not happy to have my husband stepping in for Nick. But if people are listening and they're getting started on all their Christmas shopping and, you know, being sucked into the whole advertising to get out, spend your money and get super, super deep into the commercial idea of Christmas and overspending and going overboard with things, maybe just some advice that if somebody went to your channel and they wanted to focus on maybe the inward care of themselves over the holidays instead of, you know, using their wallet and the superficial side of thinking that all the holidays have to be about the material, what would you tell our listeners to maybe some self-talk that it really is about enjoying the moment, staying present, and you know, having fun experiences over things? Obviously, we need some things to, you know, for instance, to, you know, to sit on or to sleep on, and pillows and clothing. But, you know, the pressure of the holidays, just as like today with, or this weekend being Thanksgiving, the pressure of, you know, the family expectations that have to be met instead of, you know, focusing on the material and the expectations and staying in your authentic self. What would you tell our listeners to get through these trying times? And the holidays are not fun for everybody. So for those of us who are stressed about the holidays, which start today, because, you know, everybody's going to be playing the music in the stores and you're going to be hearing all the, you know, the Christmas songs on the radio, which are great for some people. Others are not so excited for that.
Well, the holidays, like you mentioned, bring up lots of different emotions, feelings. This could be not such a joyous time for so many, not only just for the fact of being around certain family individuals or thinking about having to be at that dinner or be at this party or, you know, be included to events or parties or places and things that you may not or want to be a part of. This could also be a time where there's reflection of maybe the loss of a pet or a loved one, where this kind of brings up emotional memory of something that happened last year. So the biggest thing that would be guarded to advice to give to you would to be protect your inner peace. Kind of like pick and choose your battles. And it doesn't have to be in a mean or an evil, crude way, but think about the places, the people, and things that you want to experience this holiday. If you don't want to be a part of something, you don't have to feel like you have to be a people pleaser and be a part of it if you really, really don't want to do that. I've actually done that for many years in my life. Just I'll be the yes man because I didn't want to disappoint others. You want to do this? Want to go? No, I really don't want to, but yeah, I'll do it because I know you really want me to. And come on, it's not going to be the same without you. And, you know, you really want to be here and you really want to do it. But, and like deep down, I really didn't want to do certain things with certain people, but you kind of got roped into an idea or a theme or a suggestion from one that led that person to share that with someone else who said, well, I'm not going to go if this one doesn't go, this, and that. So protect your peace. That's there's nothing more important than your peace of mind, whether it be the holiday season or just everyday, weekly mindset. Like there's nothing more important than your peace of mind. I mean, because when you're not happy or joyous or at ease or at peace, everything else really doesn't matter, because it's just like a show and a dance. It's like, let me just put this mask on so I can be with this person today. I really don't want to be here, but I have to put the face on and I have to be happy and pretend I really want to be here, even though I don't. So just choose for yourself the events, the places, and the things that you really want to do. And because you will feel in that moment, you will feel more empowered saying no and holding your ground for the truth that you really want to hold, what you really want to do in that moment, than it will be for you to lie to yourself, have to like hang up the phone with someone and be like, oh shit, I just told them I want to go there, but I really don't want to be there. I really don't want to be at that party because I know this person's going to be there, but I told them I would be there. They want me to be like, just stand up for yourself. Stand up for your own inner peace and pick and choose the people, places, and things that you want to do for you, because there's nothing more important than you being you and showing other people that you think for yourself and you're not with the group think, where you can be easily roped into an idea and be brought into someone else's drama or a situation. There's more power in saying no than there is just always saying yes. I used to be that yes person. And over time, I kept trying to kid myself like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. But then I started having ideas about myself like, you are just as crazy as the wind. Somebody comes over tomorrow night and says, let's go to this movie on Sunday. You're going to say yes because you just want to be the person that says yes, that doesn't disappoint. Start learning to disappoint. It's okay. They'll be upset with you. They'll be disappointed. But in the long run, you made a choice for yourself. And that's the only choice that matters, your inner peace. So, if you want to be part of Uncle Bob's party, you really don't want to be there, don't go. You can politely decline. I'm not saying to be mean to people. I'm not saying to just tell people to go take a hike off a bridge. Like, I'm not doing anything you say. Like, you could be nice. You could be diplomatic. But let them know how you feel. Tell them no. The power of no is so amazing. You will see when you know that you are the only person, you're the CEO of your life, and you get to decide where you want to do, not what other people want you to do. There is so much power in that. You're going to experience a freedom in that. That's going to, once you feel the power of that, you will never be the person that just says yes all the time anymore, because that is true power. You are honoring your higher self, honoring yourself. And that is the most compliment you could ever give to yourself, is being free enough to say no. And I want to hear what happens. Be free enough to stand up, to say and speak your mind. And if you don't want to do something, just say, I don't want to do it. And just let others know. They have to know where you feel.
It's also a little arrogant of us to think that if we say no to somebody, their world is going to fall apart. Their world's not going to fall apart. There are, right, I'm sure, several other people that are happy to say yes. And the fear of someone saying no, our ego saying no, is that, oh no, my world is going to destroy theirs because I don't want to be a part of this thing, which is absolutely ridiculous because we don't have that much power, right? I mean, we just get to decide what we want to do. Someone else gets to decide, and we explain our side. And that's all that's necessary, is a simple, authentic explanation. But for us to think that, like, oh, if we don't show up, the world's going to stop. Like, no, it's not. They're going to go on. They're going to have their fun in their own way. And maybe deep down inside, they're asking you out of obligation. We don't even know. We don't know what people's motivations are at times when if we're feeling tension in something and we don't want to attend something, then the chances are that the other person is feeling a little bit of tense, anxious feelings as well. So for us to presume, that it's going to end somebody's world if we say no, and it's not, then it makes it feel a little bit easier to say no as well. And now we have peace of mind, and perhaps the other person might have peace of mind because, like I said, maybe they weren't so into it either. But usually when you're feeling tense or have to say no or feel like you're going to be hesitant in making plans with somebody or a group of people, generally, just like chemistry, it goes two ways, right? So it might be an invitation out of obligation, and then it's your obligation to return the yes. And maybe on both sides, it's just simply a formality that neither one of the parties want to engage with anyway. So if you're authentically feeling that you don't want to do something, chances are the other party kind of feels that, right? Just like when you are on a date, like we were on a date back in 99, and we both felt that chemistry when we got together. We both knew, you don't question it. You're like, oh, I feel something. And he's throwing it back at me, but you're not necessarily defining it, but there's that feeling that's there. It's mutual, right? So this can go both ways. It can be a mutual feeling that's good. And then there's the mutual feeling that is also, well, this person, like I said, maybe is an obligatory situation. So saying no in your authentic self or saying yes in your authentic self is absolutely so important, right? But we've covered kind of a lot of that in our YouTube live last week, which you can go back and watch on Nick's channel, Peaceful Nick the Medium. She hosted a wonderful live called I Hate My Family. Now, it's not like we were talking about hating our families. We have no hate for anyone. We have no hate for anybody's family at all. The episode was just called that to bring people in to hear a new perspective. Let's just say that every family has its dysfunction, and even group of friends have their dysfunction. And so the best way to kind of work through those situations is to first be authentic and honest with yourself, and as much as you can and as somebody else can handle, to be honest with them as well. And that's not just how we work through conflict, but how you work through everyday relationships.
Like the point I was trying to make before was, it wasn't like you have to deny everybody everything. Like there were times where I really wanted to be a part of something, or go to a concert, or go to this group meeting, or go to the mall, or wherever it was at the time. But there were so many other times where I didn't feel like doing something.
Yes, it's so much easier to say yes to things when you know you want that. But when you know you don't want something and you're saying yes to it anyway, well, that's a whole different story.
Well, that's the point, was that everybody listening has done it. If you're a human being, you've done it before. It's easier for people to say yes than it is to say no, because we don't want to make people upset. And there were many times where I wanted to do things that were asked of me. I wanted to go to the mall, or go to a concert, or go to a party or something. I really wanted to go. And I said yes. But there were so many other times, more times, where I didn't want to do something. And I went along because I didn't want to hurt other people's feelings. And that's the point, is coming down to when you have to continually hold up the expectations of others, you kind of give your free will away, in a sense that if Tom at any point wants us to go to his party or whatever it is, then we're going to just jump and leap. Like, we don't have our own say. Like, you're just kind of like what they say, like a leaf in a windstorm. Wherever the wind blows, that's where I'll be, because I don't have any control over my ideas, my thoughts. So like managing others' expectations, where you have to always continually agree with someone else so they don't get upset. You're not living your life on your own terms. You're living your life for them. They're the ones in control. Yeah, John, you want to go to this party? Not really. Oh, come on, it's going to be great. And then they kind of guilt you into it, give you 105 reasons why you should be there or go, or we don't have someone to drive us and we want you to be the designated driver. Or, John loves when you come to his house, like, whatever it is. It's going to be those people that will rope you in and give you so many more reasons why you should follow them or do something with them, because this is the result of what it will happen if you don't do it. And the true power is when you stand firmly in your own feet, in your own body, and you can say, no, I'm not going. Everyone listening to this podcast knows people that will sit there without a filter and just speak their truth all the time. And if you're on the other side where you're kind of a people pleaser, you envy these people. Even family members. There's family members that can sit there and directly tell you every problem that they have with you, every issue that you do, or point out when you do something wrong, and always let you know they speak their truth and you know exactly where they stand. And you're like, Jesus, I could never talk like that to this one. Like I say it in a different way, but these people who actually can sit there and just tell and dictate to other people and point out flaws or whatever it might be, those are the truth tellers. And people don't like truth tellers because they just say it like it is. They don't have a filter. And sometimes when you're a people pleaser or somebody that doesn't want to make other people upset, you just continually go along, and then you harbor resentments, frustration, and that frustration could come out in another way, could come out in any type of an addiction or anger management or frustration. So just be careful of those things, because over time it does build up, and you could find yourself in a situation you may not have found yourself in if you only kind of looked at what was actually causing the frustration, the root of it. And sometimes being a people pleaser is one of those things that can cause that disharmony in your life, your friendships, your family members, in your job. And people think it's such a simple thing. I don't think it could go that far. It can. It really can.
There's also a difference between really not wanting to do something and being coerced into it because you don't enjoy the company, and being coerced into something when you know you need to get out because it's a healthy thing to do because you've been isolating or, self-loathing or something like that. So we are also saying to know how you feel about certain things, know if it's the difference between, feeling bad, anxious, depressed, or isolating versus just not liking people. There's a huge difference between saying yes or no for those reasons. Dear husband.
Yeah.
You're doing really good.
Oh, thanks. I'm having a lot of fun.
I bet you are. You're like, I talk to you every day over dinner, over lunch, over breakfast.
I know, but we just talk now without topic or hints at conversations, or just kind of like free balling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wanted to talk about too for our listeners that every holiday that we get older, we all get wiser, right? And I feel like the holidays evolve with who we are becoming and who we have been. And sometimes we compare, years from yonder, and we look at what other people are doing. And instead of just honoring wherever people are in our lives, with all the social media, we're always comparing ourselves. So with the holidays, and like you were saying, coming into our own in the way that we're more assertive with our needs, right? And we try to be more honest and authentic about what we need from others as well. So going into this holiday season, looking back on all the previous holiday seasons, how do you feel? And then I'll kind of talk about, my perspective from it, how you have grown since holidays, from when you were a child to becoming this spiritual man and a married man, and now a life coach, and helping people evolve, their spirit and their thinking and their habits. So, because you've come a long way since when I met you, just for the audience, he was 32 when we met, only a year sober, and I was 28. And I always thought that was like the perfect age difference, which it is, because I feel like, we've grown together in a lot of ways. But, we've been through a lot of different types of holidays over the years with not just different personalities and in different places in our life, but at like I said, different spiritual levels of who we become. So kind of just walk me through how you feel you've evolved. Like, how do you see the holidays now versus, for instance, when you were a teenager versus in your 30s, like after we met, or even in your 20s? Like, just give us a quick snapshot of of a decade of like Cosmic Chris, becoming Cosmic Chris.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see or to feel or experience kind of with everyone. Earlier on when I was a lot younger, it was more about, oh my God, let's get out of work so we can go hit the bars. Tonight is the biggest drinking night before Thanksgiving. Let's go get some drinks. Let's go have fun, go out. And then as time goes on, your priorities change, just like with everyone. You kind of go from the teenager to like the person that gets involved in a relationship to the person that maybe at that point goes further and you mature. You have someone else by your side and you actually switch habits, like you move out of the friend zone. Now you're into the partner zone and maybe into the relationship zone, and you start to have different feelings about your future. And of course, everything around you is changing. You're getting older and things are changing, and you start having different ideas about different things. Like you said, a brief snapshot. Meeting you changed me from being with my friends to being in a relationship to being more focused on someone else other than myself, or other than just being in the party zone. Like the holidays, like only meant like I'm out of work. I have off from my responsibilities. I can party. It's just fun times now. Just be with family and friends and hang out, but like when you get in a relationship and it just changes your priorities, your priorities shift. You think about someone else, you plan differently, your mindset changes, you become more responsible in a sense. Not in a sense like you change, everything changes, like you become somebody totally different. But with time and being in different circumstances, you make different decisions which have different outcomes, thinking about future goals, aspiration, and the time that I give, who I give time to, and the things I give my time away to. And, it all changes when you get older, in my opinion. But what's your opinion, wifey? What do you think?
Well, for me, I feel like my priorities have totally shifted, especially like around Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate, right? Like I feel like I'm more interested not in things, but in experiences. I want to travel more. I want more quality time. Instead of sitting around a tree and opening, hi, Mimi, a bunch of presents, or going out and shopping till I drop, I'd rather go skiing, sit in the hot tub, or spend quality time with the horse, or go out and take pictures, or do paintings, or write a new play, right? I'm not even sold on staying home for the holidays anymore. I think it would be really fun if we spent Christmas in a different country or something, so that we could learn new traditions and what people do around the world, right? Like the time that we spent New Year's in the Arctic, we got to see all that cool Arctic culture, where what people do in the complete darkness most of the day when they don't have any sunlight. I loved that. I feel like the gift I give myself is self-reflection more than stuff. Like when you're a kid, it's like the stuff fills the need. And that we don't really do gifts. We make each other things. We write each other nice cards. We're more of acts of service and communication people in our love language. So we don't really do a lot of the material. So I feel like the material stuff has kind of fallen away for me as we've evolved the holidays, and that my quality time during the special time of the holidays, which are kind of sacred to me, also needs to be, like you said, with people that I really, really like and want to share time with, who are super meaningful to us and who bring out the best of us, and we bring out the best in them. So I kind of feel like as where it was a kid-centric world with holidays and material things and
Yeah.
making sure the dinner is perfect and the Norman Rockwell of presentation. Now it's really just, let's just take every 3 months, like the type of holiday, which is more sacred now this time of year for some reason, take that sacred time every 3 months and celebrate yourself and your divinity and your joy in the simplest of terms, which is what you talk about on your channel all the time, right?
Right.
Is to direct your desires, your energy towards things that are super positive, productive, and that move and evolve you as a person through life rather than getting stuck in distractions, which includes the material.
Right. I agree. You can feel the same joy as opening a present on Christmas Day every day of the year when you feel peaceful and experience joy and transformation and spiritual growth. When you truly witness that and feel it and believe it and trust it and know it and see the signs of it, you feel that. You can feel that every single day, that peace, that joy, that being cared for, that divinity. It's like a gift every single day. I mean, granted, things happen. You don't feel it every single moment of your life. I mean, unless you're a spiritual guru on top of a mountaintop where you are in Zen and you're in total ecstasy. The holidays of Thanksgiving and Christmas, for me, I agree. It's the same. It's not about presents. When I was younger, it was about presents. I loved presents and always got presents as a kid for birthdays and Christmas. It was gifts, gifts, and gifts. When you get older, you realize just the gift of being present, being in a space with people you love, you want to share experiences with, you want to give, you exchange, like good communication, like exciting communication, things that uplift you, make you feel at ease and joyous and fun and laughter. Those things, those are the gifts. Like those are the 365-day year-round gifts that you can get every single day. It doesn't have to be Christmas. But I totally agree. It's not so much for presents for me anymore. Like I'd be happy with no presents. I would be more happy to give someone enlightenment, help somebody get uplifted, help somebody have a different outlook on a situation that may have been plaguing them, where they felt there was no control, or having limiting beliefs where they felt there was no way out. To help someone have another vantage point and move through an experience, that's a gift from me. Like I love being of service that way, and watching people light up as a result of something that I may have experienced that I could share with them that they'd understand. So that's
agree. And it's the simple things like, look at the way this little dog looks at us. Huh, Bubba?
Yeah.
I mean, it's these little moments. And also we have to remember health. And Nick and I talk about health a lot. And if you have your health, you have everything. And luckily, you and I have been so lucky as to be very healthy and wake up every day with our full faculties and our limbs and feeling good, no pain, no chronic issues. And I know so many people are plagued with health problems, and we're sending so much white light out to you for anyone who's experiencing constant chronic pain or conditions, because it's the worst. And not that we haven't ever experienced a health issue. Obviously we have. And so I never take my health for granted. And I know a lot of people who suffer don't either. And, I know your mom is going through stuff, and so many people go through their health challenges every day. So whatever we can take from what health we do have, hopefully we can continue to heal and get better and move on and have quality days, so that, our bodies will allow us to feel joyous and not in pain. So it's so important for me, for instance, and I know for you too, to be very grateful for health, because without that, it's really, really hard to fully enjoy life. So that is really like a number one, priority. And that's why Nick and I do this podcast too, because we're not just mental health focused, but physical health focused, and trying to make the best of our physical experience on this earth. And obviously, if we can do that in as little pain as possible for everyone, that is ideal, but we understand that so many people suffer, and it's heartbreaking that we don't fully have answers to the conditions that exist. Our friend is going through this, without naming names. She's going through a really hard time, super young, vibrant person in her 30s, just had a baby and having a really, really rough time taking care of her newborn because of an illness. And so, lots of prayers and white light to everybody who's suffering or who's dealing with something during this time. And the best we can do is just take it a minute at a time and try to find whatever joy we have in every minute, no matter what we're going through. And sometimes that can help a little bit, not always, but all we have is hope and faith and whatever time we have here, right? So we're just trying all to make the best of it. So, however we enjoy the holidays, but like you, I feel like you grow up, you evolve through the years. You also evolve your relationships with your family, with your friends. So I feel like holidays also are a reflection of where we are within our family and our friends. Like, how can we improve that connection? How can we move on from an unhealthy connection? So it's a good inventory taking period, right? I feel like every year the holidays come around that there's this innate need for me to look inside and say, how could I be more of service? How could I be of more service to myself? How could I help my community more? How can I keep my marriage happier and alive? So I feel like the holidays are a good time to remind us to do that as well. So that's something that we don't think about when we're younger, right? We just think, like you said, rip open to the next gift. How many Barbies am I going to get under the tree this year? So it's fun to watch and look back on, especially if you have access to family videos. Boy, that's a jarring one, right? When you and your mom watch the old movies together.
Yeah.
Of all the kids and how everybody's changed, and sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse.
Everything evolves over time. I just to talk about that first topic that you spoke about, health. I mean, these are the only physical bodies we get in this chance to like take care of yourself, be kind to yourself, love yourself, to spiritually kind of move into higher levels of health. And, because like you mentioned, not everybody sometimes have the perfect health that, others have, where they can actually just kind of be free and be happy and, and not be, have a healthy mind and body. So we pray for those folks that might be suffering currently at this time through these holidays and this year, and send them love and light and blue light and healing. But also, like you mentioned, being grateful. Life is always going to present contrast, give us situations, friends, family. Everything in life is always going to give us a situation where we have a chance to decide differently than we've done in the past. So that contrast, talking about spiritually how you felt moving forward, like how you've expanded or how you've grown over the years, is all those certain situations that were at one time where I wasn't strong enough to decide for myself, and things changed over time where you're able to make better decisions and progressively move forward into a higher state of being where you're actually happier. And being grateful during the holidays, as you know, being of service to others. And like I had mentioned before, like acts of kindness. And it doesn't mean like you have to go down and save 1,000 people from, a brick falling down on a building. Like, you don't have to be a hero. It could be the simplest of things, as sharing a smile, sharing your smile with someone else that may have not had the chance to smile, and you smiled, and as a result they smiled. Holding the door open for someone else, the smallest of littlest of things. It doesn't have to be these crazy ideas. That's being of service. That's you shining your light, being a lighthouse for someone else, so they can be happy or remember what that feels like to be happy or to smile or to have a gesture of peace or love during the holidays. And it doesn't have to only just be for the holidays, but I was just kind of circling back around to what you were saying before.
Talk about what we do with the notes on cards, because I've talked about that before in an earlier podcast with Nick, that the best way to set your abundance or like a good baseline energy, if you don't know where to begin manifestation, is to just give what energy you do have with full love into the universe to someone, like you said, somewhere, something, whether it's a smile or a little gesture. So I talked about what we do all year round with the cards, where you can go to Dollar Tree and get a pack of 6 little blank notes and tell the audience what we do every couple months in our local town even.
Okay, so we take the cards home and we fill them out. We write really inspirational messages on the cards, like you are so loved, you're an amazing person, like just really positive words,
random silent blessings,
silent blessings, uplifting messages, and then we randomly go out and put them on cards, and we know that once this person will get it, they'll be maybe uplifted. What happens after we put that out into the universe? Because we're sending out positivity and love into the universe.
I don't think anybody has probably gone to their car, I know that I wouldn't, and open a random silent blessing from a stranger. I feel like every time we do that, it gets into the right hands. Remember when, I think it was last year, I talked about this in another podcast too. Remember when I went shopping and it was at a Dollar Tree? We were picking up some fun things for a Christmas game in Kentucky. And I kept finding dollar bills all over the store with little Post-its on them, and it was real money. Somebody went into a random Dollar Tree and just left dollar bills with Post-its. People would quote something from the Psalms or the Kings, but they were really loving, kind responses, about loving yourself and that Jesus loves you and the world, and the Lord loves you, and have faith. And I collected, I think, 7 of these, because people were just walking around the aisles and walking right by, even money on the ground. I found $1 on the ground, and I'm like, look, people are walking right by that, because they're so tunnel vision, thinking about what they're doing in the store rather than looking around and being in the moment and paying attention to every little thing. You were waiting in the car with the dog, and so I had come out and I was texting you, oh my gosh, I just found another dollar bill. And I must have found 7 of these. Oh my gosh, that's another great way to silently bless people. And to be on the receiving end of that, the very thing that you and I do out in the world with the cards, which is almost the same thing, except that it's not the holidays. It's, you could get a car that has a note on it in the middle of July for no particular reason that we wrote you, because we just were pulled to go to that car to leave a beautiful message on. So it's the same kind of thing. So it's no accident that you and I do this all the time, and then I'm randomly shopping and then I find the very thing in my lap that we send out to the world. So I think that was really
just feels so good. It's like the universe has your back. I don't remember if that situation was the inspiration for what we did next, or was it a totally different situation? But do you remember when we walked into the store and you had purchased something and you asked the teller, the cashier, if she was having a good day? And she says, it's okay. Today's my birthday, but everybody forgot. And we went out and bought her gifts and brought her lunch for her birthday, food and gifts for her birthday. And she had no idea who we were.
That's right. So, where was that? Was that
California?
I don't remember where we were, but yes. Okay. That's a great story for the audience. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me of that, because I totally forgot about that.
I forgot about it also.
We were somewhere, and I had gone into a store, did a little shopping, and somebody just was open with us. The cashier was checking us out, and she's like, oh yeah, I've had a really bad day. It's my birthday. I've had to work. This is going on in my life, and no friends can really celebrate with me today. I'm just being honest. Sorry to dump this on you. It's ridiculous. Blah, blah, blah. And then we both conspired to go and, you and I said, let's do something nice for her anonymously. So we were waiting for Chinese food anyway. And I ordered another lunch and I snuck back into that store and I had the manager give her
Yeah,
a
that's
lunch
right.
that we
That's right.
purchased. Yeah. And then I wrote, just tell her it's from a stranger. Who cares? That's right. And I was like an hour later and she was in the back on her break. I wish I could have saw her face when she received it, but I just wanted to, you and I wanted to anonymously kind of slip her that gift. And I'm sure that made her day. We weren't there for the reaction, but we don't need to necessarily be there for the reaction. We just need to be there in the moment to
Just the feeling of the giving was enough.
Yeah, to be somebody in that moment, to be an angel for someone. And that's another thing that's really fun. That's how one of my plays started was, Angels Among Us was because you and I started Angel Day, where we would just set aside a day once or twice a month and just go out into the world for the afternoon. And we were purposely just out to be of service. So we had no agenda. We didn't know where we were going for the day. We'd walk around Manhattan with money in our pockets and food in a bag. And if somebody were hungry, we would hand them food. If somebody needed help crossing the street, that was our responsibility to do. If we saw that there was a parking meter short on quarters, we would fill it for somebody. And this is Manhattan. There's always
like pay it forward,
Yeah, there's always a parking meter that needed feeding. There was a kid once on the corner selling lemonade, right? And we bought lemonade from the cute little kid.
Right.
There's all these little moments where if you take the time to be of service, the world will provide you places to help others. And that's really fun. So if you have the time and the means to do something like that once in a while, you don't have to go through an organization to volunteer. You can literally just volunteer yourself to the world and say, hey, I want to be of service, and just make up your own way to do it. But that's the cool thing about you and I, is that we find value in finding fun ways to be helpful and of service to people, even if we don't necessarily do it in the most orthodox ways, where, like I said, we might not donate $50 to Red Cross every year, but again, you and I will go out into the world and kind of create our own little organization of service, which is just as cool.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to also add to that as well, is that you cannot put a price on when you are of service to someone else and you see them smile back at you. I don't care if it's $1 million or there's just no price you can put on it. When you know that you are doing your heart's work, like where you feel like you are just giving yourself up to someone else or being of service, helping someone, sharing something, uplifting someone, inspiring someone, there's no price tag on that. When we were in the city, Manhattan, we lived in Manhattan many years ago, we actually went out and we served Thanksgiving dinner to a bunch of people who were in need, that we wanted to have them feel the feeling of Thanksgiving because they didn't have the means to do that. And we cooked food for ourselves. And then we cooked food for all the folks that we wanted to help. And we made like care packages. And we went out and just kind of fed people in the streets.
It's not hard to find people that are in Manhattan that are hungry. We know where to go. But we also did a Craigslist post.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And we said, if anybody's looking for like a bagged turkey sandwich with drink and trimmings, please email us your location. And we went out and drove around all of Manhattan.
We delivered. That's right. We delivered
and delivered meals to people, and I think we made about 30 of them, which
amazing.
Was nice. Yeah. We're not up here to pat ourselves on the back and say, oh,
no, it's not about boasting at all. It's not about boasting.
Yeah, it's just that sometimes when we're so deep in our own stuff and we have the means, like to cook, to give away half of a turkey, which we did that day, because we weren't going to eat the whole thing. If you have the means, sometimes it helps to get out of your own mindset to go help somebody else who's worse off than you, because there's always somebody who's worse off, right? And so it can really fill the void if you're feeling down and want to help, or if you do have the means and you're just bored and you want to help. There are so many creative, fun ways in your own community to just reach out to people. Like I said, just to go out into the world for an afternoon or an hour or two and say, hey, I'm just going to be of service to anyone I see. If there's somebody broke down on the road, if someone's short on change, it's just nice to help out when you can. And there are some times that we just can't do that. Like, it's just not possible, right? So if you can, you can. If you can't, that's okay. Take care of you. And we only have a couple more minutes of the podcast. So we just wanted to share that with the holidays, there are so many great ways to enjoy the holidays without getting involved in the commercial part of it or the familial part of it, as in the fights and the drama and the gossip, and just do what feels good for you, which Nick and I say all the time. Chris says it too. Chris, thank you, my dear hubby, for coming on and filling in for Nick today.
Thank you.
It's been fun to interview you and back and forth with you and reminisce about everything. So join us next week. Nick will be back on the Soul Twin Stars podcast, and everyone have a wonderful holiday weekend.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much for joining us this episode for the Soul Twin Stars podcast. Find us on our podcast Facebook page for Magical Mondays live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, where we will help you magically slay your weekdays, and for awesome giveaways. For more information about what other spiritual things Nick and I do and offer, visit peacefulnickthemedium.com. That's Nick with just a K. Or to connect with me, Lady Shadow, soulsandspirits.com is the place to go. If you want to be a guest on one of our shows, we would absolutely love that. Contact us at soultwinstars@gmail.com. See you next Friday on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Facebook, and on YouTube. Sending you all so many blessings. Thank you so much for joining us, and until next time, know that you are all cherished.